Hello, and welcome to another episode of Morgan's Pop Talks, breaking down the latest in reality TV and pop culture. Thank you again for being here today. I don't know that I have a personality anymore. Like Wedding 2.0 is over. It's dead and gone. It's pretty much buried at this point. We're almost 2 weeks post Wedding 2.0 and like I don't know, who am I now that I'm not planning this grand wedding where people from all over God's green earth literally are coming to my house. I don't know what to do with myself. I've been sleeping until 9 o'clock in the morning. Can you believe it? I feel a little bit guilty about that. I don't know if I'm the only person who has like sleep guilt. I mean, don't get it twisted. I will sleep anytime, anywhere for like 10 hours a night. That's what I need to be the best version of myself. But if I'm waking up at 9 o'clock, I feel like I've wasted the whole day. And that's how I know I'm getting old. That's how I know I'm turning into my parents. They used to say that to me all the time. You've wasted the whole day. Now I feel it in my heart and in my soul. But you know what I'm telling myself? I'm telling myself one day I'm not going to be able to wake up at 9 o'clock because I'll probably have some children running around the house. So I'm just going to enjoy it while it lasts and have energy while it lasts. In case you missed it, we did do a pop off on Monday, all about Wedding 2.0, the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, everywhere in between. I feel like really my life needs to be sponsored by Tums. We're looking into it because that's my takeaway. My takeaway from Wedding 2.0 is that always have Tums with you and always have melatonin with you. I'm not going to give you any more context because I want you to go back and listen to that episode. But like I said, it's a pop off. It's available now. But let's get into the pop three. These are the three biggest headlines in reality TV and pop culture from the past week. Let's start with the bomb that is Lindsay Hubbard being pregnant with her first child. I gotta be honest with you, I'm overjoyed. I'm so happy. I was like, this is the best ever. Is this Christmas? I mean, let's just go back to July 4th. I was sitting there on July 4th thinking, do you know what happened last year on July 4th? Kyle and Mauricio denied that they were getting divorced, but didn't deny that they were separated. And I'm like, will anything ever top that moment? You know, when it comes to breaking reality TV news. And then Lindsay Dale Hubbard announces that she's pregnant. She posts this post on her Instagram. It said, trigger warning. This post contains more fireworks than the 4th of July. We're pregnant. And the internet exploded. And you know, she said, we're pregnant. And everybody's doing the digging on trying to find her new boyfriend. She's keeping her relationship private. We do know that he's a doctor who works in biotech. Yes, I do know who Lindsay's baby daddy is. I don't want to say it, but if you want to know more, patreon.com/Morgan's Pop Talks. Love you like a sister, the Bravo tier. There's my shameless plug. I personally respect her decision to keep it private. And I was asking myself, why? Because I'm like, okay, is my bias showing because it's Lindsay and I love her? Because if it was Lala, I mean, we remember when Lala was hiding Randall in the closet for 5 years and he wasn't allowed to come outside and play. But I was thinking about it and I'm like, okay, I feel like Lindsay has earned her stripes in the reality TV world. Like, she's been putting everything out there for almost 10 years. And you know, when Lala was with Randall and she was hiding their relationship, she was like a newbie to the game. She wasn't in it like so deep, you know, as deep as she is now. We didn't really know her that well. And I just feel like, you know, Lindsay's been open with every single relationship in her past, with her issues with her mom, you know, all these things. So I'm like, let's let her have this one thing. You know, if she wants to keep it private because of his job, which is what she was saying, like, let's let her keep it private. Now, I know some people aren't doing that. Honestly, if you look hard enough, you'll be able to find it. But as for me and my house, we will keep this information on the DL. She revealed on her Instagram this week too that she was pregnant during the reunion filming, which is wild. And I remember, you know, there was all this speculation that Lindsay was pregnant. And I kept thinking about this one certain line that she said in the reunion about her new boyfriend. You know, Andy asks, are you seeing anyone? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, is it serious? She then says, it's trending in a pretty serious direction. And like looking back on it now, knowing what we know, knowing that she had just found out she was pregnant, that answer makes a lot of sense. But even at the time, Lindsay is a certified lover girl. She dives in head first. So I feel like a lot of her relationships are serious. But something about the way she said it's trending in a pretty serious direction kind of set the alarm bells off in my mind. And then we started to get all the Dumois blinds saying that she was pregnant. Obviously, they were just that blinds at the time. But here we are. People were up in arms about it being a paid collaboration with Clear Blue. And my response to that, grow up, get over it, touch some grass. It's going to be okay. I don't understand what really the issue is with her doing a paid partnership to announce her pregnancy. Loads of people have done it. Sheena, that's like not the best example in the world. But anyways, that is like how influencing works. You have this major life moment happen. You email your manager, hey, by the way, this just happened to me. Your manager then emails you back some brand deal opportunities and you hopefully get one done. Let her make money, man. She probably got enough money to send her child to college in that one Instagram post. So I'm not mad about it. Also in Summer House news, Carl was seen with a mystery woman at a bar in New York City this weekend. I don't know what it is. They were just photographed together. It was just the back of her head. But I was happy when I saw it. I want the best for both Lindsay and Carl. I feel like they're both good people. Everybody has a bad side to them. Like we're all human. We all have flaws or whatever. I don't think either one of them are inherently evil. And I want the best for them. They're both coming back to the summer house. So I feel like they both need to move on in whatever direction they deem, their happiness. And I don't know if I'm nuts or if I'm a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but I actually feel like they could be friends again. Am I crazy? I mean, I know I'm a little crazy, but I think they could be friends again. I am deep in a summer house rewatch. I'm on season 5, which is the quarantine season, but I also just watched season 6 and season 4. First of all, it's wild to see the parallels between season 4 and what season did we just do? Season 8, because exactly the same things were happening between Carl and Lindsay and Kyle and Amanda. Carl and Lindsay were trying to date for the first time. Carl said he had commitment issues and he self-sabotaged. Kyle and Amanda were planning their wedding or trying to plan their wedding, and Kyle was accusing Amanda of being lazy. So I'm like, 4 years has gone by and literally nothing has changed. But anyways, what I was going to say is that Lindsay gets over things quickly. And I feel like if we learn anything from the season of Summer House, both Lindsay and Carl really value the Summer House paycheck. And you got to do what you got to do to get the Summer House paycheck. It's different for like an Ariana and a Tom, where Ariana has all of these other opportunities that are paying the bills. She can be like, no, I don't want to film with him. It just is what it is. Lindsay and Carl don't really have that luxury, I would say. I mean, of course, like I said, Lindsay has like some influencing things that she's doing on the side, but it's not the same level as, Ariana hosting Love Island USA. So I think that they will film together. I think they will speak to each other. I think they will end up being friends slowly but surely. Let's move on to headline number 2, not to steal Lindsay's thunder, but she kind of did. Gypsy Rose Blanchard is also pregnant with her first child. So she's expecting a child with her boyfriend, Ken Erker. We will get into the web that is her boyfriend, Ken. But she revealed it in a YouTube video on her YouTube channel. She says, I know the rumors have been flying around for quite some time now. Have they? I haven't heard that. But anyways, and I'm happy to announce that I am 11 weeks pregnant. Ken and I are expecting our very first child come January of 2025. This was not planned at all. It was completely unexpected, but we're both very excited to take on this new journey of parenthood. Gypsy also said she wants to be a good mom and she wants to be everything that her mother was not. She says, all the things that I wanted in a mother, I want to give this baby. So Obviously, things are a little bit muddy, a little bit unclear because Gypsy was married to someone else, Ryan Anderson, and she recently left him, and not very long after she was with Ken. But let's go all the way back to the beginning here because Gypsy met Ken while she was in prison for the role that she played in her mother's murder. We all know the situation that went down with Gypsy and her mother. But her and Ken were pen pals, and then they started dating, and then he proposed to her, but they ended up breaking up. Then she met Ryan, and then they got married. Once Gypsy was out of prison, from what I was picking up on the interwebs, there was some jealousy issues. Ryan had some jealousy issues when it came to Gypsy. They ended up breaking up, and then she reconnected with Ken, and now they're having a baby. So it all happened extremely fast, right? But let me just get through the report and then I'll give you my opinion. So it says, according to TMZ, Gypsy told Ryan about her pregnancy a couple of weeks ago. We're told the news came as a huge blow for him as he was holding out hopes of reconciling their marriage. One source said he didn't take the news well at all. She filed for divorce from Ryan in March, and then a month later in April is when she was first seen with Ken. Obviously, that all happened very, very fast. So, what are my thoughts? I mean, Gypsy Rose Blanchard has a world of life trauma that she has to unpack. I mean, I said this even when I feel like even when it first came out that she was like starting to see Ken again, when you go through stuff like that, such a traumatic childhood, and then you go to prison and then you come out, I feel like you are looking for love in all, maybe not even the wrong places, but you're just almost grasping for it. It's like wherever you can find it, you're going to grasp it, you're going to pull it in. And I feel like, it is a trauma response, but also I feel like Gypsy doesn't know who she is, right? Outside of the trauma that she dealt with as a child and being in prison. She's been out of prison for what, like 6 months now. So I would have liked to have her had some real life experience under her belt that didn't involve her past. But like I said, I feel like she's really having some pretty clear trauma responses to what she's been through. But I mean, let's just hope for a happy and healthy baby. Let's hope that Gypsy and Ken live happily ever after. Last but certainly not least, the Real Housewives of Orange County is back this week, and Shannon Bedore is in the hot seat. So we've all seen the opening scene now circling around Instagram and TikTok and all those things of, the very first scene, what we're going to see this season on the Real Housewives of Orange County, and it's all about Shannon and her DUI. But it starts with last season, the reunion. People were questioning her drinking. People were saying that she needed to go to rehab. And then 10 days later, she runs into a house, right? And gets a DUI. We kind of see some explanation of what happened that night. She was talking to Heather and she says, I got in a fight with John Jansen and then I left. And she shows Heather a picture of what her face looked like. And it's really graphic and horrible, like blood running down her face. We saw the media coverage, like the local news channel of her where she hit the house. And like then in the very next scene, they bring it up that she's still drinking, that she's a 2 drinks max person right now, and that she doesn't do it often. And she denies having a problem. And she says that she just had a bad night. So, of course, Tamra is going to Tamra. She had all kinds of opinions in the comment section. She was responding to people who were leaving comments under that video. One of the comments said, "It's clear to everyone, apart from Shannon, that she's an alcoholic. I believe she's also very narcissistic because she would have accepted that and got help a long time ago if she didn't continue to live in denial and blame everyone else for her behavior," to which Tamra said, "Agree." On the flip side, somebody else said, "If she really has an alcohol problem, then shame on all of them, from Bravo down to the cast, for using her problems as the show's storyline this season. I'll stop watching if this turns out to be the case. I hope others will too." Tamara responded to that and said, "Nobody is using her for a storyline. She chose to return to the show. She knew it was going to be a topic of conversation." I have to agree with that. Shannon is a grown woman. If she didn't want this information I mean, the information is already out there, but if she didn't want a whole season of people talking about it and her addressing it on camera, she very easily could have not returned to the show. She's a grown woman. She can make her own choices. And especially when you make a choice like this, that is, just so detrimental, people have very little tolerance for drinking and driving as they should. There are consequences that have to be paid. I'm not going to sit here and speculate whether or not Shannon is an alcoholic because I don't see her on a day-to-day basis. I see a picture that is painted, but I'm just reminded of a lot of things that were said last season. First of all, that her and John had, because they're not together anymore, such bad fights that they would, what did she say? Paralyze her, right? Okay, that's first a sign of a toxic relationship. And she says here that it's a fight with John that, kicked off this whole thing. Not only that, her fellow castmates were talking last season about the fact that she would call them and she would go off about John and then she wouldn't remember what she said the next day and expect everybody to be team John Jansen. And that just wasn't the case. So I don't know. I don't know what it would take. Obviously, it would take the people I think closest to her to really go there with her and see if she's receptive to it. But we'll see how it plays out on the next season, which I'm glad it's coming out because I'm so bored with Bravo right now. Truly, snooze fest. All right, let's get into this week's deep dive. There is absolutely no other topic to discuss than Love Island USA, specifically movie night. We're going to discuss each of the clips. We were all going into this week anticipating movie night, right? Because the state of the lies going around the villa is truly unmanageable. Like I said, we're going to dissect it by each clip. But first, let's recap where all of the connections stand. And let me just say, if you're not watching Love Island USA, please do yourself a favor and do it. It's on Peacock. It's incredible. So first we have Kaylor and Aaron. Probably one of the most annoying couples that we have ever had to endure. I have to keep reminding myself that Kaylor is 22 and that she's in a world full of pain because, like, I can't take the whining anymore. And I know that that is very harsh of me because if I was 22 and I was Kaylor and I was getting the runaround from Aaron and being lied to and manipulated, I would be out there whining till the cows came home. But like to watch it every night for an hour and 26 minutes, it's like so much. I cannot take it anymore. It makes me want to bash my head against a brick wall. And Kaylor's 22. We've all been there. We all made stupid love decisions when we were 22. But Aaron is 26 years old. And I expected 26-year-old to like have some functioning brain cells. Everything that Aaron does and says to me is like a sliver of the truth. It's a half truth. It's a justification to bad behavior. To me, Aaron is not a man, right? And he's getting outed on national television. And my thing is like, these people have to know what they're signing up for when they go to Love Island. Why would Aaron not come clean? Because they're going to show it. They're going to show it on movie night. So at this point, you're just doing yourself like a disservice, honestly. Anyways, Kendall and Nicole are going strong. They're the first couple to go to the hideaway together. I really like Nicole. I'm tolerating Kendall at the moment. And I don't know if you guys saw this. This is like so niche, but for all my girlies that watched the DCC America's Sweethearts documentary on Netflix, the girl Ariana, 5'2", little baby angel who didn't make it because she was 5'2", but they let her go the entire training camp. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So she lived in Dallas for 2 years trying to make this team. Well, she posted a TikTok like when Love Island first came out saying, I have the screenshot because we definitely need to discuss it. Look, it's the first thing that's on my phone. That's how you know I'm dedicated. Anyways, it says, me realizing that his karma for ending it with me to go on Love Island is having to say my name every time he sees the host. So we're like, who is she talking about? Well, do you know who's from Dallas, Texas? Kendall. Kendall Washington is from Dallas, Texas. Do you know who Kendall Washington follows on Instagram? Ariana, the little baby angel dancer. You know who she follows on Instagram? Kendall. So I think that is about Kendall. And I'm tolerating him because I'm sick of him running his mouth, blah, 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 blah. I saw this tweet also that said, like, guys, it was in reference to Love Island. Guys will lose the love of their lives to impress their bros. And that, if that could not be the most accurate thing that I have ever heard. And like, Kendall is just being your typical bro dude, you know, like the worst types of bro dudes where Kendall is the guy that your boyfriend has the friend and you like him, you think he's a nice guy, but you don't want your boyfriend to go out with that friend by himself. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting from Kendall. Rob and Daniela, fine, whatever. I think they might be a little faking it, but whatever. Liv and Kane, same thing. Absolutely no chemistry between the two of them. And we even know that now because Kane wants to pursue Serena because Miguel dropped it like it was hot and decided he just wanted to pursue Leah. I like them together, Leah and Miguel. And I'm starting to like Miguel more. And it's crazy how much more I like Miguel after he dropped that like bad boy front. Like, I know I'm the hottest thing to ever walk the planet. I could get any one of these girls. Like, I kept saying to David while we were watching this, he reminded me of a Disney villain, like a cartoon Disney villain. But now I'm like, oh, I like him. And I don't know. The thing that always is in the back of my head when I'm watching Love Island and I see like these huge shifts in demeanor and actions and personality. And we're seeing it with Rob too, because like people were like begging for him and his overalls to boop boop out of the villa, but now people are starting to soften towards him. In the back of my mind, I always think, okay, they know at this point in time that the end is near. And that if they jump ship now, they're not going to win Love Island and they're not going to win the money. So I feel like a lot of times this is the moment where people start to lay the sauce on a little thick because they want America to like them in a couple together. Anyways, Cordell, Daya, and Serena, what a mess. I mean, I do think Cordell just got swept up in how like hot and heavy Daya came in because people think that's what the Love Island experience is supposed to be, right? But like, is it genuine? Is it more genuine to have a slow burn with someone like Serena? Or is it more genuine to have an instant connection, an instant spark, an instant lust, you know? The question that I keep asking myself, and I know, like, don't get it twisted, I'm team Serena because Cordell was acting a hot mess, but I also still have like a soft spot for Cordell because I'm naive, okay? It just is what it is. But the question I keep asking myself is, if someone came in that was Serena's type and that she was very physically attracted to, and that he came in and beelined it for Serena, would we be in the same situation? You know, we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. We'll never know, but I do have that question in the back of my head a lot. Daya isn't happy that she's been on the back burner, you know, but she had this conversation with Serena that I absolutely hated. She sits down with her and she's like, you know, if I was more open to it, we could have done a lot more. I kept telling him to reel it in. I kept telling him to reel it in. And we're like, Daya, stop. We didn't see that happen. Like, definitely not in the villa. She was not saying that. Maybe she said it in Casa Amor, but like they didn't really do a great job of reeling anything in. So I don't know. I feel like that was like it was a manipulation tactic. Like she wanted to go in and kind of taint Serena's view of Cordell because she feels burned by Cordell. Like, Daya, you do not need to taint the image any more than it is already tainted. Like Serena almost lit the house on fire. Do you not remember? But I feel like now, because Daya wasn't chosen by Cordell, Daya doesn't want Cordell to be happy with Serena. Can't say that I blame her. I mean, if I was in her situation, I'd probably feel the same. But like, don't go to Serena, please. She's been through enough. Anyways, we get to movie night. Let's go through each of these clips because movie night is where everything seems to fly off the handle. It starts with idle handshake or idle hands, and that's the handshake. And they've been trying to out this handshake for like, I want to say like a whole entire week because you remember it first came up in the challenge and they were like, Kaylor asked Aaron to see his and Daniela's handshake, and she kind of just blew it off. I don't know if she was just like, "Well, I don't know what that is," so whatever. So then they get to the after sun, and Ariana brings it up. And I did a video about this. And Ariana's like, it seems like he's just copy and pasting his relationship with Kaylor to Daniela. They even have the same handshake. So I'm like, okay, that's the second time they've brought it up. And then we get to movie night, and it's like, okay, you cannot hide from this any longer. You are going to see that they have the same handshake, and it gives us all the ick, as it should. Then they play the Andrea thing again, and I'm so over it. I'm so over the Andrea vote. It's very clear that Rob really didn't care that much because he's been coupled up with other ladies since then. He didn't leave the villa, and it paints Leah in a little bit of a bad light, or it's trying to at least. So, it comes down to like one word, right? That's really misconstruing this to everybody. And it's the sentiment that Leah was trying to take a back seat. So Leah says to Rob, I was trying to take a back seat. Rob then says to the girls, Leah said she did take a back seat. And those are two very different things, right? And I feel like even when you see around the fire pit, who was the most vocal? It was actually Liv. Liv was the most vocal. Sure, Leah might have given her opinion, but she was not as vocal as Liv was in that moment. And McGill, you can see, is starting to rethink because Leah's popping off at this moment. And I can't blame her. I feel like I would have popped off in that moment too. And he's like, this is kind of a red flag to me. And somebody pointed out in the comment section, like, don't they watch some of the episodes before they come in as a bombshell? So like he has seen Leah pop off before. So I don't know why he's acting like this is brand new information. Kaylor was very dramatic, per usual. She's a very dramatic person. She's like, don't put your finger in my face. Literally, Serena was in between Leah and Kaylor, so there was no finger and no face. But I don't like that they're trying to pit the women against each other, especially when you have so much that needs to be uncovered with the men, and even vice versa. Just the relationships between the men and the women. What I think is enjoyable about this season is the fact that the girls are so like, they're tight with each other. And I love that. They have a sisterhood. So like I'm not down for that, really. Really, I'm not. The wingman of Casa Street, we all knew that was going to be about Kendall. And like I said before, Kendall is one of those people that you just don't want your boyfriend running around. If y'all going out for a boys' night, Kendall is not coming with because he encourages bad behavior, because he thinks it makes him more of a bro. I don't know. Wet Hot American Summer is the shower conversation. And there's still more to come with Kaylor and Aaron. And I'm just wondering, like, what is it going to take for Kaylor to wipe her hands clean of it? Even coming off of part one, I'm like, she's still going to go back to him. I don't want her to go back to him. I want her to have something better, somebody who's not going to make her cry all the time. But, it shows the hot and heavy makeout between Daniela and Aaron. Like, I hate to say it, but they were like eating each other's faces off. Like, that doesn't even look like something I would want to ever be a part of, like with me and my husband. Like, at that point, that looks painful. Their makeout looked borderline painful. Like, a lot of teeth were involved, a lot of saliva, which is just, meh. She's upset about it, but she's like, I have no tears left to cry. We'll see about that. Then we get She's Just Not That Into You, which is Serena saying that she's not intellectually stimulated by Cordell. And I feel like that had to have hurt Cordell's feelings. I mean, nobody wants to sit there and hear that about them. But the only saving grace is at the end, she does say, but people can grow on me. And she's like, see, whatever. The devil wears overalls. This was a conversation between Leah and Rob where Rob started crying. He was hyperventilating. He jumped in the pool to shield himself from cameras. Was what Leah said about Rob mean? Yes. Men can cry and should cry. But Rob is not innocent by any stretch of the imagination. And I feel like there are a lot more like clips that The title is called The Devil Wears Overalls. So if you were trying to go at Rob, pick a clip where Rob is the devil in the overalls. Don't turn it on Leah. And I saw a lot of people were having that comment like, why is production trying to make Leah out to be the bad guy when everybody else has done a lot of stuff? This is the second clip that they've showed of her, being painted in a bad light. I'm glad that they made up. And, Leah said, it's one of those things, you're in the heat of the moment. You're going to say mean things. You're hurt, whatever. He had just picked somebody else over her. And this is, again, like I said, the shift in personality, because the first half of the season, everybody was like, Rob has got to go. And now people are like, oh, well, that was mean. But they didn't show the whole entire context that got them to that fight. And that was Rob not being 100% honest with Leah and Andrea and kind of playing the fence. So I don't know, like the male sympathizers are coming in full force with these Love Island clips. Aaron continuously gets more defensive over Rob than he does Kaylor. We've seen it twice now. We've seen the tears flowing when Rob was about to leave with Andrea, but he didn't. And now we see it again at movie night. And Serena is quick to call him out. And that's why we love her. She's like, you didn't do this about Kaylor. Why are you all up in arms about Rob? Has Aaron shed a single tear for Miss Kaylor? Kaylor could fill the South Pacific with her tears that she has cried over Aaron. But Aaron, his true soulmate is Rob. And I've been seeing this comparison online a lot that Rob and Aaron are giving Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandoval. And I could not think of a truer sentiment. Rob is definitely Sandoval, tries to be mysterious, wears clothes that kind of confuse people. Aaron is Schwartz. He's the golden retriever. He speaks on behalf of Rob. He tries to cover for him. Those boys have more loyalty to each other than they do to the women that they were in couples with. And we've seen this before and we do not want to see it again. Please save us from our misery. No more of this. Rob and Aaron, get it together. My predictions, unfortunately, I think Kaylor and Aaron will get back together. We cannot vote for them to win, you guys, okay? We cannot. This is my sales pitch. Vote for anybody except for them, please. Kendall and Nicole, I think, have potential to win if Kendall can sway the public opinion of him. Cordell and Serena, people love a comeback story, so I'm not going to write it off. I feel like it's giving the Notebook, like in Gen X, like the TikTok version of Notebook. That's Cordell and Serena. But I think Janae and Kenny could take it. They're underdogs. They haven't had this huge blow up moment. They did have a little test, but I think Kenny, like, even though it's a little boring, he's a respectful king. He only kissed Catherine one time. And obviously, Catherine kissed him because she wanted an invite into the villa. And like, Kenny just was too oblivious to see that. But Janae is the queen of the villa. Everybody loves her. And I think that they could win. So those are my predictions. Final thoughts. Let's talk about Olivia Culpo and her wedding dress debacle. So this has been kind of popping off online over the past week. Olivia Culpo got married to, who did she get married to? Some football player? I'm looking it up. Christian McCaffrey, right? Who knows? I don't know. Anyways, Olivia Culpo, one of the most stunningly beautiful women in the world, fashionista, some would say a fashion icon. I'm not big in the fashion game, so I'm not going to confirm or deny. But people were anticipating what she was going to wear to her wedding. And that's why some people were surprised to see that in the middle of, June or early July, she was in a full ball gown, long sleeve dress, right? Like really long sleeve. So people have been kind of nitpicking it on the internet. This one girl in particular who I guess like her whole brand is to criticize people's wedding dresses. Like I think it's like Girls Gone Gown or something like that. I don't know. I remember the video popped up and I watched it and I was like, wow, that is like a lot to say about somebody's wedding dress. And then I saw that both Olivia and Christian commented on it and was like, called her evil. You're evil. You're evil for saying negative things about me and my wedding dress. I feel like maybe this is just me wanting to talk about my own wedding again. That's really the only reason why I picked this topic to do final thoughts. But anyways, I feel like, as a pop culture correspondent on the internet, you want to talk about these types of things. But having been the bride myself, I now see it in a different light. And I just feel like I could not bring myself to criticize somebody's wedding dress, even if I did not like it. I feel like the last time I did it was Kourtney Kardashian's wedding dress. That wasn't a wedding dress. We can all agree, right? It wasn't a wedding dress. So I don't feel that bad for critiquing it. And I feel like she had to know what people were going to say about her choice to wear it to her wedding to Travis Barker. However, I just feel like even if you don't like Olivia Culpo's wedding dress, why do you have to make a whole video about it? The only reason you want to make a video about it is because you want the views, you want the engagement, you want the potential money that comes with your TikTok views. But like, is it really worth it to drag somebody in their wedding day, what is supposed to be the happiest day of their life? You know, you come off your wedding, you have the wedding high, and then you check your TikTok and you see this girl just absolutely dogging you. Who cares? Like, was it a little weird that she wore a full long sleeve dress in the middle of summer? Kind of, but I mean, she's gorgeous and she's stunning and it doesn't matter. And if it's what made her feel beautiful, then that's fine. Maybe I'm also projecting because people were bugging me in my comment section about my wedding dress, about the off the shoulder straps. They're like, oh, just pull them up. They look like meh, 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 meh. I'm like, y'all are haters. Go get married yourself and then we can talk, okay, about the wedding dress if you want to sit here and be haters. So that's my PSA to you. I'm going to leave you with that little nugget for the day. Don't be a hater. It's simple. It's simple, but I know you guys are my girls and you're not haters. That's all I have for you. Don't forget the Patreon is up and running. If you're a Bachelor girly and you want Bachelor content, we are recapping Gen season every single week on Tuesdays. Make sure you subscribe to the Bachelor tier. If you want Bachelor, Bravo, Taylor Swift, all the pop culture, Love is Blind, Love Island, subscribe to the Love You Like Assist tier. You get all of it for the price of 2. So you are really getting a good deal. If not, leave a little 5-star review, a little boop boop, a little Love You Like Assist because you know I do. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.